year at Royal Buick GMC in the Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
It's Wildcat Wednesday on 1290. Presented by your Tucson PGA Tour Superstore. Located at Oracle and Liberal Austin, Tucson. Shop with the pros. Today we remember all the great traditions at the University of Arizona and what it means to bear down on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, one of the most fun segments we have during the week is we take a look at the student athletes of the University of Arizona across the board, all the student athletes, men's basketball, women's basketball, football, baseball, softball, all the programs. And we invite all the coaches to come on. We've had Steve Walker, beach volleyball coach at the University of Arizona, on. And today we're going to feature one of his athletes, Hope Shannon, joining us right now. The pride of South Lake Carroll is joining us here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Hope, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. I'm excited to have you on the program. Thank you so much. How's school going?
School's going great so far. Picked up a few classes this week since the second 7 weeks just started, and I just finished class not too long ago today.
How's it been for you getting through all the classes, and some are online, some are in person? Are you back into the groove after the COVID disruption?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously COVID caused a halt and everything, but went from going to be fully in person to then fully online, and then going from flex in person to online. So I guess I'm just getting back into everything again. But most of my classes are in person now.
Which do you prefer?
Personally, I like being in person. I feel more engaged when I'm in the classroom rather than being in the comfort of my home or a library when I'm just doing fully online.
Right, exactly. All right. Hope Shannon joining us right now, number 22 defender, the beach volleyball team joining us here. So I was kind of looking things up and getting ready for our chit-chat today. I've heard of your high school. I know of Carroll Senior High School in South Lake, Texas. I think anybody who's a sports fan has heard that high school mentioned somewhere down the line. Greg McElroy went there, the current quarterback at UT. Quinn Ewers went there. Tell me about your high school. Tell me about Hope Shannon growing up.
Yeah, so I really loved my high school experience coming from, South Lake. I mean, the tradition there is crazy. Obviously football is big, sports are big, and I just really enjoyed my time there, and I was able to play indoor volleyball there for South Lake Carroll for a couple of years before I transitioned into playing fully beach.
What was that transition like? What made you decide, hey, you know what? Diving and defending inside the gym is fun, but I think I want to be outside.
Yeah, so I actually started playing beach volleyball my freshman year of high school, kind of just for fun, played in a tournament with a few friends, and then I realized, I was like, I actually kind of like this. So I stopped playing indoor my freshman year, and then I kind of dove fully in my sophomore year of high school. And I was a little on the shorter side at that time, and I was a libero / defensive specialist. So I didn't really get to hit, and that's one of my favorite things to do. So when I transitioned into beach volleyball and I found out that I get to do everything, I was like, wow, this is a sport for me.
So I was talking to Dave Rubio about this, the indoor volleyball coach, and I asked Steve Walker, your coach, about this. What are the differences in the demands and the skills that you have to have indoor versus beach?
Yeah, so obviously indoor and beach are a little different. Indoor you have 6v6 and beach you have 2v2. You have to kind of, for beach volleyball, you have to take into account every court that you go to, every beach you go to, the depth of sand is different, and there's the sun and there's the wind, where in indoor you don't have that. I feel like as a beach volleyball player, you have to be really quick on your feet, and being adaptable is definitely something that you have to be because you have to be ready for pretty much anything.
Is it more of a speed scramble game as opposed to watching the blockers go up there and then watching the setters and then watching somebody with a wingspan of 8 feet just trying to hammer and six-pack somebody in the face?
For sure. You definitely have to be ready to move. Sand is harder to move in than obviously being on just like the regular floor. So you just got to be quick. You got to be ready. You have to have your eyes on the ball and on the next thing. So, yeah.
Okay, so which one is harder on your body? Because I got to imagine digging, you're going onto the hardwood. Beach, though, I mean, you're scrambling through the sand.
Oh, yeah. I would say indoor is definitely harder on your body. I mean, I played both. And thankfully, I actually haven't been injured in my career playing beach volleyball so far. And I got injured a few times playing indoor. And one nice thing about beach volleyball is it doesn't matter how old you are. You can literally play it for like the rest of your life because it's not as hard on your body.
So who are your role models when it comes to the beach game? Who do you look up to? Because now that it's an Olympic sport, international, we see it on television all the time. Who are the ones you look up to?
So I look up to Carrie Walsh, the Golden Girl, the 3 gold medalist, or 3-time gold medalist, and then also Taylor Crabb. He's on the men's side of the AVP, and he unfortunately wasn't able to be in the Olympics the past year due to COVID, but he's definitely someone that's really fun to watch, and he's super fun, and he's just a great player.
Hope Shannon joining us right now from the beach volleyball team, University of Arizona. It's interesting. You look at how the sport has taken off, and I look over at football. Tetero McMillan was a good volleyball player, and now he's playing on the football team. JW, you were just mentioning.
Yeah, Chase Budinger was meant to be the next Karch Karai. Had he gone that direction, everybody said coming out of high school, but he just went basketball, went to the NBA. But yeah, he was on campus here for 2-3. I'm curious if Chase's name is ever mentioned anywhere near the beach volleyball scene because he was so highly thought of when he was coming out of high school in San Diego.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I actually was not too long ago. There was the AVP Phoenix Championships, and he actually was there and he was playing. So it was kind of cool to get to watch him play, knowing that obviously he played basketball at Arizona and then he played in the NBA, and now look at him now. He's playing beach volleyball.
So how cool is beach volleyball? Like you meet somebody, you go, oh, I'm a student athlete at the University of Arizona, and then you say, oh, what sport do you play? Beach volleyball. They have to just smile and go, all right, that's a pretty cool sport.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, beach volleyball is definitely probably one of the funnest sports. I mean, I'm a little biased, obviously, because I play.
Obviously, right?
But I mean, being outside, the sun, the sand. I mean, I'd rather be on a beach than in a convention center, personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope Shannon joining us right now for the beach volleyball team, defender. They've got a couple. Their season's just getting going right now. That's why she's joining us here. Like I said, we've had your coach Steve Walker on. Tell me about the coaching staff. Tell me about the team. Tell me about the personality on the beach volleyball team.
Yeah, so I'm actually really excited for this season. We have a ton of great girls and a lot of talent. I mean, our team has a lot of depth. We have 2 new transfers, and the incoming class had 2 freshmen. And I would say we're probably of an older team since we have a lot of seniors. But there's 19 of us currently, and then we actually have 1 that transfers over from indoor to beach. So we'll have 20 when the spring season starts.
All right.
And
I was going to say, okay, so for those that are novices or haven't been out there, explain to us how the team is put together, how you compete, what a match is like.
Oh, yeah. So when we're in season, say we're playing GCU. So there are 5 pairs that play, and so they're ranked from 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and then all the way to 5. So our 1s pair would match up against GCU 1s pair, and then so on and so forth. And so when you play beach volleyball, it's a little different from indoor. So instead of it going to 25, it actually goes to 21. So it's best 2 out of 3. And one interesting thing is we actually side switch. So we switch sides of the court every 7 points. And if we were to go to a third set, then we would switch every 5 points.
And it is loud and it is raucous and there's music going. It is kind of different than the indoor game, which is a little bit more staid and conservative. I mean, Steve's told me about the party that you have out there and the fans that come out. They get into it, they make noise and get behind the team.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the fans are the best part. You get to come out and watch us play, and then hearing them from behind, especially last year when we had my partner and I, we had a really close game against Cal and then also Long Beach. And then all of our fans kind of just circled around the court, and it was just a great sight to see.
How do you guys choose who's playing with who? How do you pair up?
So that is actually, our coaches decide that. So I guess whoever partner or plays the best together and whoever works the best together. Ultimately, those are who are going to be partnered together. And also just what our coaches want for the team and the best thing for the team.
All right, we're talking right now with Hope Shannon, defender on the beach volleyball team, our guest here on Wildcat Wednesday, where we talk with all the student athletes across the spectrum of all the sports. We get to know their stories. So I want to go a little bit more in depth on you, Hope, if you don't mind. So, what brought you to the University of Arizona? What had you say, you know what, I'm a Texan, and we love Texas, and you know what, I'm all about the Lone Star State. Don't mess with Texas, but I think I'm going to come out here to the Grand Canyon State.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first time I stepped on campus, I just loved the weather. And then after, when I was on my visit, meeting all the people, the team, the coaching staff, and just the experience of being a student athlete here and just seeing the culture behind Arizona athletics, it was truly a one-of-kind experience and an atmosphere, and I wanted to be a part of it. And one cool thing, actually, my father, he played hockey, and he came here, or he played at URI, and he traveled here, and he just loved the campus. And so that was another reason that I wanted to come here.
So how do you tell your friends, hey, I know we all grew up in the Big 12, and I know we all grew up saying hook 'em horns, but I'm going to the Pac-12. What was the response from your coaches, your friends, and everybody back around Texas?
I mean, everyone was excited getting out to go to a different state. I wanted to be in a different environment. I wanted to meet different people. I mean, I have, coming from North Texas, I know a lot of people that go to the schools like OU, TCU, UT, all those our schools around the area. So I wanted to be in a completely different environment, especially for my 4 years of college.
I mean, could you think of a better place to play beach volleyball? I mean, maybe, okay, Long Beach would be good. Pepperdine and Malibu might be good. San Diego would be good. But, I mean, think about the weather here. You've got a beautiful court. It's dry. I mean, this is built for this, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. And if you've ever come out to our courts, we have 5 courts, and not many programs have that, which is very nice. And not many have the facilities and all the things that we get with being here at U of A.
So talk about the support amongst the athletes. One of the things, we were just talking with Dave Hickey, and he talked about that we're not in silos, right? That the men's basketball team and the women's basketball team, they support each other. I see you all going out to football games. I see the football players going out. I see all the student athletes supporting each other. When I'm down in McHale in the media relations room, I see everybody going over there to the hydration station, everybody walking around together. Talk about the camaraderie of the student-athlete experience at the U of A.
Oh, for sure. I mean, everyone here wants the best for one another. So whether it's a basketball game, volleyball game, or one of our games, I see every different athlete at these games, and the attendance is awesome to see, too. I mean, we all just want the best for one another, especially we're at the same school and we want the same goals. We all want to achieve the best. And, I mean, ultimately, we all want to go to the NCAAs. So. Absolutely.
All right, real quick before we let you go, you mentioned your dad was a hockey player. Do they get a chance to come out to see you, to watch you? Do they catch you in your games? And by the way, they might be watching or listening on our YouTube stream. So if we don't say hello to your family, I don't want to get in trouble. So let's talk a little bit about your folks and your family.
Yeah, for sure. And I believe they're actually listening right now.
Oh, Texas, good. Okay.
But
well, let's give them a shot. Wait, sure. Then let's come on. Give me the moms, Dave, Dad. Give me the whole thing.
Do what? Sorry, you said.
I was saying let's name everybody. I don't want to leave anybody out. I don't want to go to South Lake Carroll High School one day and run into your family like, hey, you didn't mention us. So let's give a shout out to everybody.
Yeah, of course. So, mother's name is Lisa Shannon. Dad is John, and then I have 3 brothers. Older brother is Cole, and then I have 2 younger brothers, Jake and Kane.
All right. So of the 4 kids, who's the best athlete?
Ooh.
Come on,
we're all going to say different things.
No, just tell everybody you're the best athlete. Tell them your mom and dad's favorite.
I feel like I'm for sure the favorite.
Well, absolutely. And hello to the Shannon family. Your dad played hockey, and they have to be proud and excited for this season as Arizona gets ready to get going for the season. If you guys want to go out and watch Hope and the rest of the team, go to ArizonaWildcats.com to find their schedule. And like I said, you go out there. I mean, before you even get out there, Hope, you can hear the traveling rock and roll show that you guys are, with the music blaring and the people walking across the street with lawn chairs and beach chairs and coolers and sandwiches, and they stop and get food and drink, and it is as close to a party as you can get at a school.
Oh yeah, it's just a good time out there, you know. Who else would want to be like, you know, watching beach volleyball girls play and being outside in the sun? I mean, I would.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, Hope, I appreciate you coming on the program, and we'd love to get you back on during the season and give us an update of how things are going.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Hope, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to talking to you again. Give my best to Coach Walker and the rest of the team, and we're going to make sure that we keep up and keep everybody apprised of what's going on with the beach volleyball team.
That sounds good. Look forward to speaking to you then.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hope Shannon joining us here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Appreciate her joining us here on the program. Hey, real quick, today's program is brought to you in part by QC Kinetics. What's QC Kinetics doing here? They're helping people get back on their feet. We're talking about amazing, lasting pain relief from joint pain. They're the nation's leader in these new pain treatments with advanced regenerative medicine, non-surgical alternatives. So what's that mean, Rich? What does that mean? You keep talking about this. Here's what I'm telling you. 30 years ago, they said, well, this is how you deal with joint pain. Okay, it was a shot, it was steroids, or was surgery. Well, 30 years ago, I couldn't watch games on my phone. Technology has taken off leaps and bounds. So why would you use the same technology they used 30 years ago to deal with your pain today? So if you've got joint pain from an injury, maybe arthritis, maybe that bone-on-bone arthritis as you get older, and you've been told, oh, you're going to need a replacement. Now, call QC Kinetics right now for an alternative way to deal with the pain. These amazing protocols work with pain caused by injury, like torn meniscus or rotator cuff. They can get you back on your feet with no downtime, no steroids, no surgery, no painkillers. Call QC Kinetics right now. Don't keep living with that pain. Learn how regenerative medicine can give you your life back with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics right now for a free consultation, 520-497-4955. That's 520-497-4955. QC Kinetics, 520-497-4955, located Academy in Orange Grove. One more time, 520-497-4955. Coming up, Brian Jeffries joins us next here on 1290.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down, and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. Into the backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins. Throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three. Blocked again by Koloko. Follow grabs it. It's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way. Out to Tabellis. Down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The Locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
4th down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on 4th down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Arizona. Oh, did they need that? My goodness. Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball. Down by 11. They have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home. And foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his 3rd foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like what, driving down that was from midcourt. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's
We're tied.
a huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
McLeod's going to line up under center. Wiley, the running back. Receiver either side. 2 tight ends. Oregon, 5-man front. They shift. Play fake, rolling right. McLeod looking to throw. Going deep. Down, trying to find Berryhill. Makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. Still loose inside the 15. First down, Arizona.
What a play by McLeod. He was smacked, but he had the presence of mind to know where Berryhill was. He threw the ball. He underthrew the ball, and Berryhill was looking back at it and made a great play on the ball. An amazing play by Jordan McLeod.
Brown will take the snap a yard deep in the end zone. Straight back to throw. Has some time. Steps out of the pocket. The Wildcats have got him for a safety. Second safety Arizona has recorded this season. It's a 24-12 ball game, and the Cats will get the ball.
That's big
Early
time.
on the field is a safety.
Yes. That's big time by Arizona. That time defense did a great job of just closing the pocket from the inside, and then the pressure on the outside by Abear, they just got him. They just got there. They won their blocks that time. Excellent job by Arizona defense and really changing the momentum of this game.
TCU not going to foul yet. Mathurin looking at Tommy Lloyd. Shot clock at 15. Mathurin back and forth dribble. 10 to shoot now. Long ways from the bucket. Off to Dalen Terry. Terry looking for help. 6 to shoot. Way outside to Mathurin. 3, 2. Mathurin forces the 3 off the rim. No good. Follow. Koloko jets it home. And the Cats up by 5.
Offensive rebound, and the man of the night, Christian Koloko, 12 of 13 from the field, 28 points.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, handed to Mathurin between the rings. Over for Krisa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Krisa around it. Drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for 2. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak. Driven out towards right field. That is going to get...
Boy, you're just in time.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions on Wildcats football and the Pac-12. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Arizona football. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Chill on, Wildcats. Here is your host, Rich Herrera.
All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. We continue with you here on the Rich Herrera Radio Show. It's time for our Arizona Insider every Wednesday on Wildcat Wednesday. We're joined by none other than the voice of the Arizona Wildcats, Brian Jeffries, the Hall of Famer, joining us here on 1290. Brian, bear down.
Bear down, Rich. Beautiful day to watch football practice. I wish it was like this every day. So I'm just soaking up the atmosphere today.
You know, if it was like this all the time, then the rest of the Californians would move here. So I keep telling them, no, it's so hot out here. Please stop. Don't follow me. Stay there.
Yeah. No, you're right. We'd have 3 million people living here if it was like this every day. So you're right. We lie. We tell them it's. I was telling the people last week from Oregon it was going to be 110 on the field at kickoff, and I think they believed me until they got here. But anyway.
Absolutely. Let's review what we saw last week. Arizona, Oregon. First of all, the crowd was tremendous. The support was fantastic. Just seeing that many people in the stadium, I wanted to get your perspective because it had been a while since we saw a stadium full like that here in Tucson.
Well, it is, and that's one of those things we've talked about for years now, is that, the fans have a big part of trying to get this program back where everybody wants it to be. And all you have to do is look at the team the Wildcats played last week, Oregon, and look at their history. If you go back to the mid-'90s, remember, Rich Brooks had been there, I want to say about 16 years, and they finally broke through and got to the Rose Bowl. And then the program took off since then. They've only had 2 losing seasons since then. And one of the factors is the fact that Autzen Stadium then became a packed house every Saturday when they had a home game. And so that helped catapult that program to where it is. And that's something Arizona can do too. If they continue to have 50,000 people there every week, it's only going to help recruiting. So that's my pitch this week. It's the same one you've probably heard many times before, but it is. It's very important to the growth of the program, and let's hope it continues.
But it is viral because Autzen is known as a tough place to play. Other stadiums, the Swamp in Florida, you hear people talk about that. You talk about these tough places to play, and they start taking on a mystique of their own. And at one time, Arizona had that in the middle of a Desert Storm, and I think it could be had again if folks turned out and they took that role as we're going to make this the most uncomfortable place for anybody to walk into with the energy that we bring. Not sure we're going to win every week, but we can make it uncomfortable for you to roll into Tucson.
Well, Jed Fish asked me last week, he said, what was it like here when this place was full, or at least had 50,000, 52,000 in it every game? And, I related to him about beating number 1 Washington, beating Oklahoma. I mean, the atmosphere that you saw there, even I remember a lost Oregon in front of a full house, just the atmosphere that it created. And because, he hadn't been around anything like that since he arrived here, and kind of curious, okay, can Tucson, can Arizona do that? And the answer is yes, they can. And I know things have changed, and if you look around college football, and there are exceptions, but, attendance has not been what it was 10 years ago, and that's just part of our society. But just the same, with the capacity now at just over 50,000, there's no reason that, there shouldn't be 45 to 50,000 there every week. And that's kind of I think the hope of everybody involved.
Well, let's go talk about one of those places that's awfully tough to play. Arizona's going to go up to Washington to take on the Washington Huskies. Arizona's coming off a tough loss to Oregon. Oregon, I don't care what people say. I was listening to Pac-12 radio today, and they were saying, well, is Oregon for real, or is Oregon a team that just stubbed their toe first game out, Dan Lanning taking over the team? They just got beat by one of the best teams in the country, but since then, they've been on a tear trying to show everybody that first game, throw that out the window. This is the real Oregon Duck.
Well, and I think, again, all you have to do is look at their roster, and that's another thing that we all knew before the game last week. When you take a look at their recruiting, another thing that Coach Fish talked about is what has made Oregon so good for so long. They've recruited at a very high level. And so even though you may see some younger guys on that roster last week, guess what? When you look at the stars next to their name, you understand exactly why that program is where it is. And so, that's where Arizona wants to be in a few years. A couple more recruiting classes and trying to get to the level that Oregon's been able to recruit year in and year out. And then you talk about beating teams like that on a regular basis. So, yeah, they're very good. Even though they've changed coaches, they seem to have that same kind of system, that same kind of style, and that's credit to them. So, outstanding football team. I'll be interested here in another week or week after this when they host UCLA. That's going to be one of those, real telltale games as to who could finish in the top two in the Pac-12.
Let's talk a little bit about the Dogs coming up. It's the Cats and the Dogs up in Seattle coming up on Saturday. Walk through this for me. What are you expecting? Because I kind of look at it at first blush. Arizona's had a hard time stopping the run. Washington has been giving up points after point after point, and they've been getting beat by the pass. So it looks like you've got two teams that might be able to expose the problems and the challenges that each other has.
Well, it is kind of and I know the coaches here, the Arizona coaches this week, they have been, and every week you go through your game plan and what they're looking at. And this is the first week I can remember where they've kind of looked at those stat sheets and looked up at the board and said, what are we getting here from Washington? What kind of team are we really facing? And yeah, they've been giving up, they've been getting up a lot of passing yardage. They haven't run the ball incredibly effectively. I mean, they've been okay, but they haven't been great at it. But based on Arizona's rush defense, you figure Washington's going to run the ball. And they're going to try and run the ball and see if they can be successful. If they can, they're probably going to keep running it. They have an outstanding quarterback in Michael Penix Jr., and he's, lit up everybody over 300 yards all 6 games this year. So I don't think they're going to abandon that by any means. But it is kind of an interesting scenario going in as to what are you going to get from them, and can Arizona do what it needs to do, and that is, can the Wildcats score? Because I think we found out that if they want to win games this year, they're going to have to put up some points. And then number 2, can they find a way to slow down opposing defenses? And that's, to me, the last half of the season going to be the key to Arizona's success or lack thereof. They don't have to be a great defense, and I think it's obvious now they're not going to be a great defense this year, but if they can make some improvements and at least force teams into throwing the ball more, even though you're running into a team that throws the ball very well, I think you'd much rather that than have a team just run, and be successful with it.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about is we got the depth chart this week, and we're starting to see some changes. So for the fans that have been wondering, okay, what are they doing? How are they trying to? What's going on? We are seeing some changes in personnel. We're seeing some younger guys get opportunities. We're seeing guys that are earning spots by playing on scout teams, and other people getting opportunities. And we'll see some different faces, I think, coming up the second 6 games of the season as Arizona's searching and trying to make those adjustments to slow down the running game.
Well, and I think that one of the hopes was that they would be able to build some depth on the defensive line. That's number one, and they've been trying to get some younger guys in there, and I think they're going to continue that. They're just trying to find a combination that will work, and also trying to give those frontline guys some rest at times. Probably the most interesting change this week on defense is DJ Warnell will get a start at the nickelback. And I think for a couple of reasons. I mean, he continues to play well, number one. And number two is you're facing a pass-happy team. And so I think Arizona is going to make sure that, that's something, even though the run defense, again, has not been good, I think that they want to make sure that, Penix just doesn't take over this game through the air. And so that seems to be one of the game plans right now, is to find a way to force Washington to run, which I think is kind of interesting. Try and see if they can run the ball because, again, Rich, they've been average in that department. So maybe this is the type of team, if Arizona can slow down the Huskies through the air, force them to run the ball, and then see what they can do defensively.
Absolutely, 100%. Can we switch over to basketball? Because we had Arizona Basketball Media Day was yesterday, and got a chance to hear Tommy Lloyd talk about the team. Got a chance to sit down and talk with a lot of players. We'll have those interviews coming up. What was your takeaway from Tommy's comments?
Well, he says exactly what I love to hear, and that is this team is going to be a lot different a month from now, a lot different 2 months from now, 3 months now. Let's enjoy the process. And I know a lot of people want to look at the preseason rankings and say, well, Arizona's going to win this many games and blah, blah, blah. But the thing that he loves to do, as he talked about yesterday, he loves to teach basketball. He loves to watch a team grow. And that's one thing I love about college athletics, is the fact that, a new team comes in and you've got an influx of new players, you've got holdover players, but you have to start almost from scratch and you build the team as the season goes. And I love watching that. I loved hearing Tommy talk about that. That's his philosophy, which we saw last year and we're going to see again this year. So it's a different team, but we found out that we've got a proven coach that knows how to build a team. And so I'm excited to see where they are, especially when they get to Maui. I think that's going to be the first, major test for them, because 3 games in 3 days, it's difficult. It might be the strongest field ever over there. And, in fact, I was talking to folks at Cincinnati today, and they're loaded. And that's Arizona's first-round opponent. I know I'm getting a little ahead here, Rich, but I'm just looking at the season as a whole and saying, by the time we get to mid-January, maybe late January, I'm really excited to see where Tommy has this team at that point.
And I thought it was interesting because he pointed out, as much as everybody goes, oh, Dalen Terry, look where he is. Let's look where Benedict Mathurin was. Let's look at Christian Cloak. He pointed out something to me yesterday and said, think about these guys, and we remember where they were, but let's remember where they started as well. So as we see these guys leave, by the time they were done, they were ready to go in the NBA, but they developed during the course of the season, and we'll have more players being able to do something like that.
Well, you've got, I think, depth. I'm really interested to see what his rotation off the bench is. I think we kind of have an idea who the starting 5 are. Not that he's said anything, but I'm just based on, practice the last week or so. You get a pretty good idea who the starting 5 are going to be if the season started today. And then you've got 6 more guys, and I'm throwing Kylan Boswell in there, although he's not going to be ready right away. Last year he had an 8-man rotation, and most coaches go 8 or 9.
Right.
And right now, if you just look at his roster, he's got, including Boswell, he's got 11. So, is there going to be a redshirt candidate in there? Who's going to be the number 10 and 11 guys, as opposed to the first few guys off the bench? You kind of get a feeling, Cedric Henderson's going to be coming off the bench right away. But other than that, let's wait and see how it works out. But you like the talent he has on hand, and I think, as he pointed out yesterday, those freshmen, they're going to take a while. When I say a while, is it weeks or months to really be major factors? And we'll see. Like I said, that's one of the fun parts of getting the season started and see where they go.
We just have a couple of minutes here, but I wanted to ask you something. I don't have the same access that you do. You get more access than the rest of us, being the voice of the Wildcats, but I got a chance to watch practice yesterday, and I walked away. I've been to football practice, but I don't get a chance to go to basketball practice much. I walked away really impressed with the organization of the practice, the quality of the practice, and the teaching moments, and watching Tommy teach, watching Jack Murphy bark out where everybody was going, keeping the thing going, watching Ricardo Foyce, working on just little things with Pello Larson. I was watching Steve Robinson working with Umar on a side basket. I walked away thoroughly impressed with the way practice was run and the amount of teaching and the attention to detail that I saw in the little bit of time that I got to spend inside McHale yesterday.
Well, it's those little things that become big things. And, yeah, if you don't cover the details, you're going to find it hurts you as the season goes on. He loves to practice fast, as you saw, because they like to play fast. They don't like to waste any time during practice. I mean, that's very valuable. You only get so many hours a week to work with those guys. You've got to make the most of all of it, because once that season starts, and yes, you do practice between games, but now you're more into game prep mode than you are doing those little things, those little details. And so this is an extremely valuable part of the season right now for the next 3 weeks until they get on the court against somebody else. They get an exhibition game first, and then a little time after that to kind of find where they need to work, in particular with those young guys. When I say young guys, Umar Ballo may have been now in school for 3 years, but he's still young and he's still learning. And I think all those guys are. And so, like I said, this is a big time of the year right now, because once it gets rolling, you don't have that same opportunity that you will once you get into the heart of the season.
Now, is this the part of the season where you have to remember who your partners are? Because, we've got Lamont, and you have your places you're going to go eat up in Seattle. But I'm sure that Reggie has different places that he likes to eat. I know Rhino has different places. How do you keep the three of them in check and make sure that you're communicating equally with all three of your broadcast partners?
Well, let's see. They're all distinctly different in that department, Rich, because Lamont's very habitual, although I'm taking him to a place he's never been to in Seattle this week.
Whoa.
Because the Mariners and the Seahawks are both home. So we're having to take a detour, and so I'm taking him to a new place.
Okay. Breaking news, we're learning.
Reggie tries to pretend that he's dieting, and but after that third course, you figure out that he's okay, and he works out all the time, so he's in great shape. Rhino doesn't eat, so I don't have to worry about it.
Rhino doesn't eat?
No, he just doesn't eat.
That's how that's why he looks like he's still in college.
Exactly.
He's probably still wearing the same clothes he wore to class.
It's like, how do you do this? I mean, you don't want to even ask. You don't want to know. You say, okay, if I did this, imagine if I started this 10, 15 years ago. I mean, I'd be in great shape right now.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, enjoy the trip up to Seattle. Tell them that it's 115 degrees, so none of them move down here. And then you get a week off for the bye, and then we'll get together before the Trojans come to town.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rich.
Brian, thank you so much. Bear down. I'll talk to you soon. Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Arizona Wildcats, joining us here on Wildcats Radio 1290. That's always fun when I get a chance to catch up with him. By the way, we've got an interview with Dave Hickey coming up. I want to play this for you. We talked to him about the sellout in football and the state of the team. Also, we talked to him about Pac-12 media rights, because now the Pac-12 media rights are out in the general marketplace. I want to bring that up with him as well. You know what? I got Rich in Chicago calling in. Let's grab him real quick. I'm sorry, Rich. We've been so busy today. I want to make sure that we get you in here. Rich, welcome. You're on 1290. Bear down. You're an honorary Wildcat, brother. Now I got him. Rich, you there?
Yes.
What's up?
Hey, all right. I got a couple quick things for you.
Yes.
As a follow-up.
I got my pen right here. Give it to me.
All right. Well, the first thing is your listeners, especially the younger ones, I was really enjoyed listening on Odyssey to Al Borges' interview.
Yeah, how about that?
He is a legend at Auburn and Michigan, and I don't think your listeners – and he's an older guy like I am, but the guy, everybody I know that played for him and that Auburn team for 2 years, he had 5 or 6 kids off that team that were first and second round NFL draft picks on offense. I mean, they were cranking him out. They were undefeated.
Right. And one of the reasons I like talking to him and I bring him on, because there's times where I can't go really in-depth X's and O's with Jed Fish because he's worrying about a game plan. He doesn't want to give anything up. Then I don't want to put him in that position. But if I have a neutral coach that I can ask X's and O's questions of, then I can really drill down a little bit. So we're talking about cover 1, cover 2. How many guys in the box are you? Are you 1 gap, 2 gap? If I got caught in the weeds with that, Jed doesn't have time for that during the season, but I can go to Al and he could take a little bit of extra time and explain and teach me things and hopefully teach our listeners as well.
Well, here's what I was thinking. Maybe he doesn't want to get into that kind of minutia, simply because Arizona has an offensive coordinator. Now, I don't really know your guy, but I got to tell you something. If I had a chance to bring in Al Borges as like a special assistant to Arizona this year for your guy, I would be all over that and say, okay, what would you do to game plan against Washington on offense? What do you think we need to do to shut them down?
Yeah. And we're lucky. He's a family friend. He's actually an old-time family friend. We went to the same high school in California, and that's how I reached out to him. And I said, hey, listen, Coach, I don't know if you do this for me, but, you know, you were friends with my late aunt, and she always raved about you, and I never got a chance to cover you myself. He goes, Richard, I'd love to come on. So that's how we ended up getting him on to join us every week. So he's been fabulous.
He's really good, really good. Anyway, I want to I didn't want to follow him.
Real quick, because I'm coming up against the clock. Go ahead.
All right, real quick. These are things we didn't talk about Washington, and then I'm going to tell you about a sound rumor that will surprise you and you can break with it. But anyway,
okay.
Washington, third down conversions is inordinately high at 50%. But here's when you break them down, I think they're vulnerable. You know, they pass 65% of the time and run 35%. And we talked about Penix. His attempts per game, this will blow you away, 47 attempts per game. But how about this? Only 5.6 yards per attempt. So he's not as much accolades as he's getting. It's a lot of dink and dunk. Has to be. You only have 5.6 yards with 47 attempts. And the problem is they run 75 plays a game. You guys need 3 and outs. You need to get them off the field.
Yeah.
Which is going to stymie their offense. Anybody that runs 75 plays, he'll wear your defense out.
And that's what they do.
I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen them but once. But they don't really scare me. You know what I mean? They are beatable. Here's the good news. The line opened at 17 on Monday. It's down to 14. So people are taking Arizona. That's kind of interesting.
I saw Arizona's been one that's been jumping all over the place. So, yeah, 17 down to 14.5. I probably would suspect it'll be down to 13 by game time.
Yeah, well, that's good because I'm going to tell you something. This is a winnable game. I know it doesn't look so good on what I predicted last week. I mean, I'm doing very well doing this. But I thought, you know, in its totality, but, you know, I got a lot of phone calls from my pals going, hey, we thought you were a pretty smart guy. What's going on with the Arizona-Oregon game? I said, hey, fluke. I just blow them off.
Every once in a while. Hey, Rich, I got to run, man. Thanks for the call. Talk to you soon.
All right.
All right, take care, brother. All right, that's my buddy Rich calling in. Let's see. We have that conversation with Dave Hickey. That's coming up next. Are we ready to go? Yep.
Thanks to Coors Light.
Nope, there you go. I'll just be quiet.
Insiders on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coors. This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show.